being simple alert, bug report function as structured communication tools. Now, a well, a well and a clear and well-crafted report eliminates guesswork, speeds up resolution, and keeps everyone aligned on the issue. So, what do we mean by this? So, when you're talking about eliminate guesswork, what do we mean? Here it says that, you see, for you to be able to eliminate guesswork, developers don't have to assume what went wrong or try to reproduce the bug blindly. That's why we have it here. A clear and well-crafted report helps us do what? Helps us eliminate guesswork, right? So the product owner don't have to guess, the developer, the product manager, even the customer support don't have to guess, right? This will help us what? Eliminate assumption, what went wrong, or trying to reproduce this blindly. And when we talk about speed up resolution, what do we mean here? With all the necessary information in your bug report that has been provided, the issue can be fixed faster if it's a very clear and well-crafted report. There is going to be a speed in resolution, right? So now, on the other hand, vague or poorly written reports can lead to delays, misinterpretation, and unnecessary tension between QA and development. Yeah. So what this is trying to tell us is that if your bug report is unclear, incomplete, or lack important details, right, it can cause delays. When I say it causes delay, the dev have to keep asking questions to clarify the issue before they can fix it. You see, misinterpretation as well. The developer might not understand the bug and fixing the issue, the wrong thing. Because why? It has been misinterpreted in your bug reporting. The right information was not passed on your bug report. So when we are talking about, when we are talking about lead to unnecessary tension between QA and development teams, what we are talking about here is that QA may feel like, oh, devs aren't fixing the things fast enough, or while devs may feel like, oh, QA is not reporting issues clearly. So this causes blame or stress on both sides. That's why you see it causes unnecessary tension between the QA and development team, right? So this is why great bug reports matter. It must be what? It must be very clear and well crafted. So that what? It will eliminate guesswork. So developers don't have to fix things blindly. Moving on. So why this matters? Development teams are not mind readers. Yes, they are not mind readers. So when your bug report is not clear enough, they start asking themselves like, okay, what exactly went wrong? How do I reproduce it? Which environment was it in? Is it critical or just a cosmetic issue? So all these issues, like, you need to outline them in your bug reporting, right? All these are key factors that are to be in your bug reporting. What went wrong? To list it. How do I reproduce this? Which environment was it in? Is it critical or just a cosmetic issue? So these are the things that development team will come up with first. If they are able to find this in your bug report, okay, they will be able to fix accordingly. But if you are missing all this important, all this vital information, there will be a misinterpretation in fixing the issue, right? So we also have another reason here. Time is money. A clear, detailed bug report prevents unnecessary back and forth messages, delays in reproduction and resolution, misinterpretation of problem. So if you write a well-detailed bug reporting and I send it to a developer, okay, this is what is wrong. I tested it here. This is how I reproduce it. This is the environment. It is very critical. I outline the vital information, what he needs to know. The steps I took before I encounter this particular issue must be outlined in my bug reporting, right? In order to do to eliminate misinterpretation of fixing the wrong issue, because what? Time is money, right? So a clear, detailed bug report prevents unnecessary back and forth. Here, anatomy of a good bug report. Anatomy of a good bug report. So when we are talking about the anatomy of a good bug report, you see, we have the clarity, the efficiency, the traceability, professionalism, better QA dev collaboration. So now when we are talking about clarity, you see here, developers immediately understand what the problem is, how to find it, and what the behavior is expected. Simply because you gave them a well defined clarity on this bug report. So they immediately understand what the problem is and how to find it and what the behavior is expected of. Now, efficiency. Talking about efficiency, this reduces time spent tracking down vague or incomplete issues, be looking for what is not missing if your bug report is not well written or well crafted, right? To save us this time. And we also have the traceability, whereby it helps the team track issue patterns and prioritize features or fixes, right? So these are processes whereby when these issues are being reported, there's a tracking tool for all these issues. For instance, you have, let's say for instance, you've reported issue on a login, right? There's a issue on login and there's another issue on login as well. But you've created a ticket for the first issue, and there's another issue you've found, but you want to report the same issue. So in order for you to be able to trace, for you, for the team, for the product owners to be able to trace this issue accordingly, you have to do what? You have to align it in a particular pattern whereby if they see the first ticket you created for this issue, they should be able to locate the second issue at an instance. That's what we will have as traceability. Helps teams track issue patterns and prioritize features or fixes. When I face this issue on this log, I should be able to see the next issue as a developer, right? If I now have different tickets for same scenario, same login, but different issues on different tickets, and report them differently. You see, this is where the team lose track of such issue. You see, so traceability helps the team track issue patterns and prioritize features or fixes. Now, talking about professionalism, a well-documented bugs show quality. Yeah, well-documented bugs show quality, ownership, and respect for your team's mates' time. You see, if I just try to log in on an application and my internet is not working, if I click on the login button, it is expected that I get an error message that says, "Oh, please connect to an internet to proceed." Right? That is what I was expecting. But I never knew my internet has disconnected from my laptop. But the moment I clicked on login, I'm seeing that error message. I clicked on it again, I'm seeing that error message. And I say, "Oh, this is a bug." Then I will now screenshot and send to the developer. This is a bug. No, that is not it. You have to do what you have to be very professional about what you are doing. Well documented bug show quality. You see, you have to test. Okay, you test on this device, you test again on the other device. So that shows professionalism. A well documented bug shows quality, ownership, and respect for your teammates' time. You see, if you report, there are some kind of bugs that you are going to report. Even the developer, you might not see the reaction though. Be like, "I'm not even going to reply this message before that notice." Because it is not what? It is not well documented. Now, talking about better QA dev collaboration, you see, when developers trust that QA reports are reliable and clear, communication becomes smoother and more respectful. What does this mean? This means that once an issue is being raised, right, and your report, your bug report is reliable and clear, communication becomes what? Becomes more neat. The developer knows what to do and how to do it. So these are the things we need to know as an anatomy of a good bug report? First, we have the clarity, efficiency, traceability, professionalism, and better QA dev collaboration. Now, what are the costs of poor bug reporting? What are the costs of poor bug reporting? These are the costs. Developer fix wrong thing. Why? Because they don't have clarity. It is not, they don't have a well-written bug report. So they fix the wrong thing. In this case, let's take, some of you might be thinking that how would they fix wrong thing when they don't know what the issue is? Yes, they will not fix it because they don't know what the issue is. Because now let's take this as an instance. I'm on the login page, or let's take, for instance, I just launched an application, right? And on that application, my first launching is taking me to the dashboard, right? Just the overview of the web of the application, right? So now there's a back button on that application. If I click on the back button once, it's going to take me to the login screen. If I click on the back button twice, it's going to take me to the sign up page. But the developer is not aware that once you click on it twice, it's going to take you to the sign up page. And the moment it takes you to the sign up page, the page crashes or the application crashes. Right? So now if I'm now writing my bug report and I be like, oh, when I get to the dashboard, I click on the back button and the application crashed. If the developer is trying to fix this issue using your bug report, the developer will follow the exact step you gave him. And if the developer cannot reproduce this issue, the developer will get back to you and tell you that, oh, this issue is fixed. Probably you need to test on this device or so to be able to get an actual result. He did not write any code to fix any issue, but he came back to you telling you that this issue is already fixed. Reason because developer has already done the wrong thing. What is the wrong thing here? Miscommunication from your bug report. So the cost of poor bug reporting: stakeholders lose confidence in QA, bugs are closed prematurely or left unresolved. So when bugs are closed prematurely or left unresolved, like no developer is working on it, it's just unresolved, it is because it has been reported, but it is not well documented. And any bug that is well documented should have a severity or priority that says that, oh, this is urgent. It needs to be fixed urgently. But if your bug report is not well documented, it doesn't capture the priority or the severity, it's not going to speak well to your bug report that, oh, this needs to be fixed. It will be left closed prematurely or left unresolved. Right? So this is the cost of poor bug reporting again. Here we have testers get frustrated when issues bounce back due to lack of information. Right? Due to lack of information, your reported issue can be bounced back. I've been in this situation before where I reported an issue and it was bounced back, and I'm like, oh, what went wrong? Then I discovered I didn't pass the right information. Right? So I had to get on a call with the developer, trying to tell the developer, okay, this is how I got the issue, this is how it is. The developer was not like, oh, you didn't report this in a well documented format. That is why I returned your ticket, because no proper information, no proper communication was gotten from your bug report. And I was like, okay, I knew where the issue was, so I had to, sit back and document it properly and send back for him to fix. So if a well-documented ticket is being picked up for fix, the product owner is aware, the dev team is aware, the whole team is aware. They will review that and say that, oh, there's an issue actually and it needs to be fixed, which will now trigger the traceability method, whereby everyone will be tracing that particular issue for fix. So cost of poor bug reporting also, it causes release delay because time is wasted clarifying instead of coding. You see, these are where we have back and forth between the QA and the dev, trying to clarify issues instead of fixing the issue. So these are the cause of poor bug reporting. Yeah. So now I want you to think of a bug report as a story, right? We are going to begin the practical here, but I want you to think of a bug report as a story. Just think of it as a story, an issue. Like there's an issue, and how do you want to tell this developer? You want to tell him as a story, right? So now you are telling a developer, here is what I tried, here is what I expected, here is what actually happened, and here is everything you need to see, right? Here's everything you need to see is for yourself. So the better the story is told, the faster the fix. The better the story is told, the faster the fix. So if you are telling a developer how you tried it, what you were expecting, how it happened, and he should see it for himself, you have to produce the step to reproduce. So the better the story is told, the faster the fix. Here we have the component of a strong bug reporting. Component of a strong bug reporting. You see, I'm hitting on the word strong because these components are not to be missing. Strong bug reporting. These are the components. Your title, your description, steps to reproduce, actual and expected result. Your evidence, that is your screenshots, video, the environment you tested on, severity or priority. These are the components of a strong bug report. Talking about the title, your title has to be clear. It has to carry a concise summary. I can't just go to a developer and say, login fails. Login fails with what? Login fails with valid credentials, right? This is a valid title. They'll be like, okay, he's telling us that, oh, login fails with what? With valid credential. Now, in my description, I'm going to outline or highlight what broke, where it broke, and the expected behavior. Now, in my steps to reproduce, what is this steps to reproduce? Steps to reproduce is just like step-by-step guide, step-by-step instruction on how that bug was being triggered, right? So those steps is what or are what the developer is going to follow as an instruction or as a guide to be able to go to be able to trigger the bug. So your steps to reproduce is an let's say an action way, a way. They say follow no road. Your steps to reproduce is telling the developer or showing the developer a clear path, a way, right? Now we have the actual result and expected result. Actual result is what we are expecting, and expected result is what you got, right? So this describe what actually happened versus what should have happened. Then your screenshots, evidence of what happened. When you are trying to reproduce the issue again, you are able to reproduce, then you have to screenshot, of video, do a video of what the issue is so you can report it as well. Now, environment is where you tested on, right? So there are situations whereby I've tested some applications, applications on iOS, and there are sometimes whereby I will find some issue and I'll be like, this issue is very critical on iOS. Immediately, I will send it to Mr. Toby's DM. I'll say, boss, please help me check this issue. And the first thing my boss is going to say is, have you tested on Android? Have you tested on Android? So I don't understand why he's saying, have you tested on Android? The reason why he's saying, have you tested on Android is because he wants you to be able to, pass a vital information to the developer or to the product owner that says that, oh, I tested on iOS, this is the issue I encountered. But when I tested on Android, I was not able to reproduce this particular issue, even though I followed the steps to reproduce. So you can see the reason why it's asking, have you tested on Android? Because what is happening on iOS might not be happening on Android. So that is the first question you always ask. Have you tested on Android? Have you tested on iOS? I'll be like, oh no, let me quickly test. And when I test, be like, yes. So you can see differences, right? Now, in your bug reports, this should be captured. So you can see this is how they work. Your environment matters a lot. Oh, I tested on HP. I tested on Chrome. I tested on Edge. I tested on Firefox, Safari. They should be outlined in your bug report. Because if you tell the developer that this issue fails, he will go and try it on Chrome browser, and if he cannot reproduce the issue, he will tell you that this is not a bug. But if you are able to communicate your issue correctly, be like, oh, I tested on Safari, and if he tries to test on Safari, be like, okay, this is a bug actually, and you will fix it because of the environment, right? And severity and priority, we have when it is urgent, it is medium, it is low, something that can be picked up later, or something that can be picked up immediately, urgent, right? So these are the key components of a strong bug report, right? Okay, so there are common bug reporting mistakes that QAs do make. Like, okay, you can see a vague titles like, oh, page broken. This is not a great title to give a bug report. A page broken is not a great title. Skipping reproduction steps, like for instance, those steps that guides a developer to be able to reproduce that bug, you are skipping it. It's a common bug reporting mistake. And reporting multiple issues in a single ticket. Let's say, for instance, I'm testing profile management, I'm testing user management, I'm testing login, and I'm also testing what do you call it, portfolio. And I find an issue on login. I create a ticket for the login issue. And I find an issue on user management. I will take that issue and merge it to the issue on login ticket. No, there should be a separate ticket for those issues because they are not the same feature. User management is different from login. Profile management is also different from user management and login. So they need to have their own particular ticket. And if any issue arises from user management, you need to attach it or link it with user management ticket, not with login ticket. So this is how we avoid bug reporting mistakes. So reporting multiple issues in a single ticket is a bug reporting mistake, right? So no context, user state, you are not defining your user state, you are not defining your environment. You see, that is a common bug reporting mistake we do make as QA. So these are the mistakes here, right? Moving on. Tips to report like a pro. Tips to report like a pro. As we can see on our screen, reproduce the issue at least twice before logging it. Remember when I said I used the scenario where I used to send some issues to QA Bro to help check if this is an issue, because I will retest and retest again to confirm if this is an issue before I will now send to him. Then he'll be like, have you tested on this platform? So you need to reproduce the issue again. For instance, let's take this scenario. I'm trying to I'm a landlord, right? I'm a landlord, and I am trying to I have an application whereby if I want to invite you, or you just come to my compound to to get a house, I will send you a link. You have to accept the link or decline the link. So this scenario now, if I am trying to decline the link, let's say I decline the link, I decline invite. The moment I click on decline invite, the app crashes, and I'll be like, this is a bug. I have to report it. It doesn't work that way. You have to test the scenario, but we have two components on the application. We have the accept invite and the decline invite. So you have to test the decline invite again to see if you are able to reproduce that same issue. And check your network if you're able to reproduce that same issue. Now use bullet point for clarity. Using bullet point to say, okay, this one is an outstanding issue. This is where the issue is occurring for clarity. Now, avoid assumption. How do we avoid assumption? Whereby you click on the decline invite, and decline invite is telling you when you click on invite decline invite, the app crashes, right? If you click on accept invites, you don't know what's going to happen. You just went and assumed that, okay, because of decline invite button, when you click on it, the app crashes. So you are assuming that accept invite button will also crash. It doesn't work that way. So we need to avoid assumptions. Stick to what you observe, right? So these are the tips to report like a pro, right? Think from the developer's point of view. With this report, give them everything they need to fix the issue without coming back to you. Link related issues or log where applicable. So these are the tips to report like a pro. Best practices, provide clear reproduction steps and screenshots, prioritize based on business impact, not just technical severity, maintain open communication between QA, dev, and product. We also have the regular defect triage meeting. We also use automation tracking too. So when we are talking about this defect triage, right? So defect triage is just like a reviewing process, right? Whereby is a meeting whereby they review, they prioritize and assign bugs found during testing. So who are the people involved in this? We have the QA team, the developers, product managers, and Scrum masters. Yeah. So these are the things that we need to know. And why does defect triage matter? Because it keeps the development team process efficient, and also it reduces unnecessary delays, also align team on what most important, and helps avoid bottlenecks, during testing. So these are the best practices of bug reporting. Yes, so reporting bugs on Jira, this is going to be taken by my colleague Ibukunwa, who is going to be taking the practical aspects of bug reporting on Jira. Yeah. So in conclusion, we say writing clear and actionable bug reports is a core skill for every QA professional. It bridges communication between QA and development and can directly impact how fast and efficiently your team can ship fixes. Be clear, be detailed, be helpful. That's it. If you can be clear, be detailed, and be helpful, your bug reporting is going to be an outstanding bug report. As we all can see now, we are going to be seeing that in our practical section. Okay. All right. So moving on to our practical section. Does anyone have any question to ask so far?
Hi, Ruben. Thank you for that session. Yes, like I mentioned in the beginning of the webinar, we said we are going to be having a practical session in this webinar. So it means we're not doing quiz today. But yeah, we could take some questions before we move on to practical. Let's take like 5 questions max, and then we'll move on to practical. Okay, Ruben, we have a question. Okay, this one says, in a situation where you raised many tickets of bugs to a developer and due to the time frame, he bounces back without checking it, and you were retesting and also doing regression tests. After several tests, you noticed all the issues still persisted. Who is this? Hi, Coyote. There is no question here, but I guess Ruben, yeah, there's no question here. Are you asking what to do in this situation? Ruben, can you answer the question, please?
Okay. Can you hear me, Jennifer?
Yes.
All right. So the question is, in a situation whereby you raise many tickets of bugs to developer and due to the time frame, it bounced back without checking it, and you were retesting and also doing regression tests. After several tests, you noticed all the issues still persisted. So In that situation, to handle it professional and keep your QA standard high, you know, you see, there's what we call the when you document everything clearly. Since you already raised the bug and did retest and regression, keep your test evidence updated. Just keep your bug, your test evidence updated. Reach out to the developer, and be like, okay, well, this is how it is. So if you are bouncing it back and we are not picking it up, if it arises anymore, this is evidence. There is clear evidence of everything that is happening. So all you need to do is just document everything clearly. Reach out to the developer, escalate if needed. You know, escalate if needed. You can also do what, add it to your sprint when there's when there's a sprint, you add it to it, and you also do what, you do constant follow up. Constant follow up. When they bounce ticket back like this, there will be constant follow up for till they will pick that up. I think that's a way of getting out of that kind of situation.
Thank you for that. Kayode, I hope you got that. So far that's the only question. Okay, since we don't have any more question, I think we can move on to the practical.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Ben, for the session. And yeah, so I'll be taking you guys on the practical parts of bug reporting. Please kindly confirm when you can see my screen.
Yep, we can see your screen now.
All right, thank you. So we'll be reporting the bug using um Jira. So let's dive into it. All right, so this is a Jira interface. This is how a Jira looks like. So we'll be reporting a bug using this Jira. All right. Yeah, so the application we'll be reporting it from this night is it's called source demo. So we'll be checking some issues here and we'll be reporting it as it goes. Okay, so the first issue that we're reporting here is um a logged out user. That's a user that is trying to log in, but they're unable to log in. Or when a user is trying to log in an application is unable to log in, that's what we call bug. That's an issue. All right. So I'll be showing us how to report that. Okay, so the first thing, let's try and log in with the user and see the error we get. So this is the user and this is the password. So when we use it and try to log in, you can see we have this error message. So let's report this as a bug that, okay, a user is trying to log into application, but they are unable to. So how do we report it using Jira? So this is a Jira interface. So I'll click on this create button from to do. And since it's a bug I'm reporting and the first thing is a title. So what's the title of the bug? So the title of the bug is login error, right? That's the title of the bug, login error. Or if you can state your title based on what issue or the issue um you find on the application. So this is a clear title of a bug which is login error. All right. So I will be adding the next component of bug report, which is which are the description, the steps to reproduce, and the likes. Sorry, this is loading. Don't know. Know why it's taking forever to load. Let me try refresh again. Okay, wait while this load. I don't know why it's taking so much time. Hi, Jennifer. Can you still hear me on the call? Okay. Don't know why Jira is it's taking so much time to load. Okay. Okay, it has loaded. Thank God. All right. So the the title is a login error. So here is this description. So the first thing is what happened when you are when you are trying to do this thing. So I'll go ahead with the description. Okay. So yeah, and to make our title so more clear and better, we can say um login interface, login error showing bad response details, right? Because when we try to log in, this is what we are getting. Okay, so we can just say login error with um with invalid error details, right? Okay, login error with wrong response. We can say wrong response. Yeah. All right. So so the first description is, so that's the title. So the first description is you explain what happened, like what you are trying to do on the application or what really occurred, right? So you can see, we can that's the first thing we do. Sorry, there's a typo here, right? So the description can go like this. As a user, when I log in with a valid credential or valid details, I receive an error message, right? So you can copy the error message or you can just state the error message or something, all right? So you can say I receive an error message stating that, so you can paste what the error message is stating on the, what's it called? On your description. This is black. Let me change it to, this is white. Change it back to black. All right. So you can add that, then after that, so this is a clear this is a clear description, right? This is a clear description. So we can use this, and we can also say that when a user attempts to log in into when a user attempts to log in with invalid credential, the system responds with a misleading or incorrect error message that does not properly reflect the actual issue. Yeah, so this will actually um um display to the developer, whoever is picking this issue up, that okay, this is what um you want to do. Okay, so we can say this as description one. So ideally you are not supposed to use description one, description two, but due to the fact that we are learning and we want to use so many scenarios. That's why I'm using description 1. So ideally, you're supposed to use just one description. Okay. All right. So after you've written your description, so the next thing is the steps to reproduce. All right. Steps to reproduce. So you can give this, can bold this, then this, you can name it your description. Hope you are following. So your steps to reproduce is, what do you want to do? How do you arrive at the issue? You get, this is more like you are trying to explain something to person, and the person is telling you what happened that you arrive at this issue or this situation. All right. So what you have to do first is, the first thing before you can even access this thing, the first thing is to launch this URL. First, launch the URL. So number 1 is launch URL. Okay. Then you can paste the URL at the front of the number 1 steps. Then number 2, you can now say input valid username and valid password. You get, so because that's what we did here. I put a valid username and a valid password. Then the next thing is to do what? To click on the login button. All right. So the next thing is to do what? Click on the login button. All right. So when you click on the login button, what happens? You get a bad response, despite the fact that you've used a valid username and a valid password. All right. So now the next thing you are putting here is the expected results. Expected results. Right. So when you put the expected result next, then you tell them what you are expecting when you input your valid username and your valid password. So what's your expected result? So your expected result should be something like invalid email or password. Please try again. So this is supposed to be the error message that you're supposed to get, right? Because if you look at the title of this issue, it said login error with wrong response. You can see that this is a wrong response, right? So we are reporting the issue that when user login, we are meant to get a right or a good response. You get, so we are reporting this response that, okay, this response is not advisable, like is not good for this application, right? Hope you guys are getting that. It's not good for the application. So that's what we are reporting. So the expected result is when you input your valid password and your valid email, you are supposed to get a response like invalid email or password. Please try again. Okay. But the actual result is you are getting this this error here. We'll do one more, what's it called? One more example so that we can be clear on what we are doing. All right. So this is the error we are getting. We are getting this error. All right. So we are getting this bad error message. Okay. So now to back what you've written up, you add what? An attachment. You add an attachment. Okay. So when you add an attachment, you can now go to add an attachment. You just screenshot the page. You might not see what I'm screenshotting, but when I'm adding it, you see it. Screenshot the page, then highlight what you are trying to do for them. I would show you guys how I got what I screenshotted from the, okay. So this is the screenshot of the page, right? And I highlighted, you can see this red, this thing here, and I highlighted what the error I'm actually getting. Okay. So after you put your attachment, you can now add your environment, your wherever you want to assign it to, the status you get. So these are the basic way of reporting a bug. So, and when you are done with this, just click on your save button and you see that you have a very good and clear bug report, and you can see that everything is here. All right. So let me assign this. So I'll be assigning this to the, let's say this is the developer. So when you assign this, developer will get an email that, okay, someone just reported a bug. Please check. You get it is a must that the developer will get an email. So let's do another the last bug report. So for sake of clarity and sake of understanding, so I'll be using this application, but I'll be reporting a issue that user is unable to log in. All right. So let's report that okay, user is unable to log in on this application for the sake of clarity and understanding. All right. So your bug can now be your bug title can be user is unable, or user is unable to log in into Swag Labs. So let's use login, the normal general login that we all know. So let's use that as an example. So this is my title. User is unable to log in into Swag Labs. Okay. So you start with your description. When you are trying to log in an application, you are unable to log in. Maybe you are not even seeing this error. You are just stuck on this same page. Yeah, I'm using this as an example now that, okay, the user is stuck on this page. Okay, so I'm using that as an example. So let's forget about this error message or something. So let's say you are trying to log in, you've clicked on this button, but you are stuck on this same page. So we want to report that bug. So the first thing is your description as usual. Your description, then you state what happened. As a user, when I input a valid username and a valid password, and then click on the login button, user, or you can say you are stuck on the page. User is stuck on the login page and on the login page, which makes them unable to access the application dashboard. So, any developer that picks this up, even with my description and my title that user is unable to log in, they will quickly understand that this guy is facing login issue. But for them to go further and try and understand what you are trying to report, right? You need to add your steps to reproduce. So the number one step is to do what? Launch URL. So let me get the URL. We get the URL, paste it here. Then number two, input valid username. Number three, input valid password. Number four, click on the login button. So that's the last action. So the next action is expected result. So the expected result is what should happen when you try this. So my first expected result is that the user should be directed or redirected to the application dashboard or landing page or whatever thing or hero page or whatever page they are using on the application. All right. But the actual result is that when I enter the username and the password, user is stuck on the login page and cannot access the dashboard, right? So this is a clear actual result. All right. So now after you put your actual result, what was the next thing? Your attachment. Input your attachment or screen record of what happened. So you can now record what really happened when you are trying to log in. You will show them the scenario of that you are clicking, like you'll be showing them that you are repeatedly clicking this thing and it's not working. All right. You'll be showing them that you are repeatedly clicking it and it's not working. So you can just add your attachment on it. So sake of time, I'll just say, let me just add a screenshot. Let me just add a screenshot. Okay, let me just add a screenshot and highlight the login button for them that, okay, I'm unable to click on the login button. All right, so I'll add it to the attachment. Now you can see that on the attachment, I added this login button and I point an arrow to it that this is what I'm talking about. Then you can add your environment, your priority, your date, the device you are testing with, and the likes. So there are just minor issue, and you can now assign the ticket or assign the bug to the developer that will fix it. So this is a clear example of how the image that I've been talking about looks like. This is a clear example, right? Okay, so this is the basic way of reporting bug, and I'll be open the floor for any questions, quick questions, yeah.